Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and it's the much anticipated August 26th, 2019 Ban and Restricted Announcement Day, which is an official holiday on the MTG calendar. If you're not familiar with the lore behind Ban Day, it's the time when a magical mythical figure named Mark Rosewater visits everybody's house, every Magic player, every good little boy and girl in every town. He visits them all in one day, knocks on the front door. Oh, if they sufficiently believe in magic enough, mind you. But yeah, Mark knocks on their door, and then as soon as they answer, he blasts a hot, wet Taco Bell fart straight in their face, then runs away screaming maniacally and flipping them off. Because that's what they think of properly managing these formats. This is the most mismanaged game I've ever seen in my entire life, and I mean, I'm considering things like Anthem in that list. Magic the Gathering's ban list versus No Man's Sky release day one. I'm still going to give it to No Man's Sky. I think they had their shit together a little bit more than Wizards does. So let's start with Standard here. So Standard actually had an unban, and since there's only one card banned in Standard, I bet you know what it is. It's Rampaging Ferocidon. Oh boy. So I could try to say why I think they did it, or I could just read why they said they did it and then make fun of it. So this was a mistake. It's a dangerous and careless, stupid mistake. But I did see this coming because I thought, well, you know, is that really even relevant anymore? So I thought, yeah, they're probably going to unban it. I would have given it like a 60% chance. It would have been smarter to just say, let's leave well enough alone, because what the hell is this going to add to the game? Anything that risks Red taking back over, not smart, because Red, the way that they've been printing in the last 3 years, is so bad for the game. I mean, back in like Amon Cat Ixalan time, pre-rotation, it was just so fast that every other deck had to be fast. There was no mid-range, which mid-range decks are actually like fun and interesting to pilot and play against. And then there was just long drawn out, mega ultra, draw, control heavy, stop literally everything decks. And that's all anybody could play. You had impossibly fast, turbo slow, and then nobody could build anything in the middle, which included like all of the tribals from Ixalan. So it really wrecked everything. It was a very bad state. Now, they've been focusing on variety. That's the number one thing they keep mentioning in these ban and restricted announcements, and they have upped the variety. You can jump on right now. People are building all kinds of stuff, but they've completely dropped the ball on fun and enjoyable gameplay, which, in my opinion, is only really a factor for Standard. You go to like crazy overpowered high level play in Modern on up, but Standard is supposed to be fun, interesting, and enjoyable, and all about dynamic deck building and building whatever you want and becoming a better player and upgrading your deck and making proper decisions. There's no decisions about, oh look, I flipped a coin, went second, and lost on turn 4 against Red. So I think in the next couple sets, they're going to have to do something a lot more interesting with Red, because remember, people are saying, but that's the color identity. What, are they just going to get rid of Red? There's dragons, planeswalkers, there's like commune with lava, there's all kinds of red effects that don't involve just cramming creatures or burn spells down your throat on turn 4. It does other things. I mean, there's, fire breathing effects, there's haste, first strike, a little bit of like white creature effects in there. They got flyers, they got hatching dragons, I mean, they got fling effects. It really does more than just rush. So they need to stop making rush a thing because it's so bad for the meta. To put it bluntly, it just suppresses all creativity because you can't build anything middle speed, no matter how good it would normally be, and that's bad. So to look at this card, in case you're not familiar, because this has been banned for a long time, it is a 3-cost 3/3 with Menace, so pretty good at combat. Very interesting trick there. Another thing you can do other than Blitz. And then it says players can't gain life. That is the important part right there. That is anything anybody cares about is that line. But then it does go on to say, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, so yours or theirs, Rampaging Ferocidon himself deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. So it doesn't really do anything for Enrage, but I guess it was supposed to maybe stop like Selesnya or some kind of swarm deck at the time. I don't know, vampires maybe, because that was token heavy back then. I'm going to say obviously vampires because can't gain life, and then every time you drop in a 1/1 lifelink, it basically doesn't have it, and then it causes you 1 damage. So they got rid of it because Red just had no answers. The normal answer to Red Rush is throw cheap creatures in the way, combat superiority with stuff like First Strike, massive sweeping removal like Black Sweepers, or life gain. And life gain was no longer an option because of this stupid card. Now it does cost 3, so does it really fit in a fast deck? Not really. And I think even now, I will admit that nobody in their right mind is going to main deck this. This is a sideboard card, okay? There's only like 2 decks right now in the meta that run life gain, so why would you put a dead card that costs 3 in a red blitz deck? And honestly, the red blitz deck right now is just bring out 1-cost creatures in Cavalcade. That's what it is right now. The rest just became kind of a Boros deck. It's a Feather Krenko bullshit deck. Oh, and by the way, Feather absolutely should have been banned. Nexus should have been banned. Teferi should have been banned. I don't even have time in this video to illustrate what all should have been banned in Standard. It's about 15 cards. They've clearly just given up at this point or trying to cruise into the rotation while the whole time hoping that you believe their lie about variety, variety, variety. Yeah, look at the great variety of stupid, obnoxious bullshit I don't want to play against. Good job, Wizards. I'm having so much fun. I mean, there were sets in Magic's past where it was so fun to play with them and in that Standard meta that whether you won or lost, you're like, wow, that was an interesting and dynamic game and I had fun. Instead of just, oh my god, I'm locked out of doing anything by Teferi and 7 counterspells in the guy's hand. Screw this. And I mean, watching somebody take infinite turns is the pinnacle of that. So clearly, they're just like, this is so out of control, screw it. Clearly, 8 sets should not be legal at once. We all know this. They know this. The game wasn't designed to have 8 sets legal at a time, and they changed it when people on Reddit bitched about not being able to use their lands for an additional 6 months. Boo-hoo, shut the hell up. Stupid, whiny, entitled crybaby millennials who don't want to spend an extra $10 on the game. Anyway, they say, we periodically review the mana restricted list for cards we can remove that will positively impact the format. Rampaging for Usadon was banned during, it should have said the Ixalan year standard, in order to weaken aggressive red decks and provide more counterplay by blocking with creatures and gaining life. That's true, you couldn't block chump block with 1/1s, because every time you bring one out, you take 1 damage anyway. And then this says Menace, so yeah, it didn't really work. Since that time, aggressive red decks have become weaker in the metagame and stronger and more varied strategies have emerged. Yeah, I mean, they're not completely wrong, but do you really want to risk bringing it back? That's why I thought, just let sleeping dogs lay and just leave this. Like, we're so close to rotation. What benefit would there be to bring it back? But they do explain that. So they go on to say 2 popular new standard decks enabled by Core Set 2020's release are Scapeshift, which they don't elaborate. I assume they mean Field of the Dead, which is the actual card that wins the game. You could literally win without Scapeshift. Or Zob Vampires, which, yeah, that one's getting annoying. That's just an overpowered tribal deck, thank God. But Scapeshift, that one's toxic. I don't like decks where it's an all-in combo and the whole rest of the deck is just control. That just pisses me off. 3-color control decks with a gimmicky win con. I mean, you're going back to like Approach of the Second Sun and stuff, and Infinite Nexus and Teferi Lockout, and just all the worst decks of the last year and a half, if not longer. And Scapeshift, Field of the Dead is one of them. So they claim Rampaging for Usadon should give red aggressive strategies. It costs 3, it's not that aggressive. And other decks like Jund Dinosaurs, so they're saying, yeah, you can put this in 2. Not really, it doesn't trigger Enrage. An option, or an additional option to fight Scapeshift and Zob Vampires. Vampires, yes, because it would kill the tokens, it would slow down, well, it would stop life gain. It doesn't matter, they're going to hit you hard enough to win. And Scapeshift, really, I mean, unless they're referring to a different deck than the Field of the Dead Zombie Generator one, which I don't think they are, do they really think that the person taking 1 damage to bring out a 2/2 zombie is going to somehow lose them the game? Because it's not, and that deck gains 0 life. Oh, and I think that deck plays something that gains 3 on ETB. Not every version, whatever. That's basically a complete non-factor. But if they're like, oh, I can't bring out 7 zombies because they'll take 7 damage, and then swing for 14, no, you're still going to win. You're just going to win with a slightly lower life total. So this does nothing to stop that deck. They're dreaming if they think it does. Anyway, Zob Vampires, yeah, it'll slow them down. I still don't think Red would beat it. This ain't going to help. Who knows? Nobody might play this card. Who knows? So while we're generally happy with the health of the standard metagame right now, oh, you shouldn't be. I mean, the health and the variety, the fun and enjoyability of actually playing the game, oh, you should be at DEFCON 5. Or like 1, whatever the serious one is. I forget how that works. They should be like throwing papers in the hallway, running around screaming, saying, how do we fix this? Everybody hates our game. It's just a boring, aggravating control-a-thon shit show. What the hell do we do? Oh, ban the hand disruption, ban this, ban rush, ban control, ban Teferi, ban this, ban people from playing 3 colors at all. Like, they should be very concerned. They're just like, oh, what's the variety? Okay, cool, good enough. Wait, what's this about fun? What fun? I've never heard that word. What does that mean? Why would people have fun playing Magic? What are you talking about? Wait, why is FNM a 10s down? So anyway, they're pretty happy with the health of the standard metagame right now. We believe Rampaging for Usadon will further improve the metagame's general balance and ability to self-correct for the remaining Core Set 2020 standard season until rotation with the release of Throne of Eldraine. So they're micromanaging the meta that barely needs to be fixed Even though right before the last rotation, their excuse for not banning Chain Whirler was, oh, well, it'll rotate in 3 months. And by it, they meant the deck, because obviously it's still problematic. That whole damn cycle is problematic. Tempest Djinn should have been banned. Steel Leaf Champion absolutely should have been banned. Chain Whirler, no doubt in my mind, should have been banned. Dreadshade, nobody plays it. I think it's a little OP, but nobody plays it. And Banalish Marshall, well, they just banned it for the standard refresh. So what does that tell you about whether or not they think it should be removed from the meta? 4.5 out of 5 of those should have been banned. Wow. Somebody done screwed up pretty darn good. Anyway, I actually thought with them bringing back Rampage and Ferocidon, they were going to say, okay, it's a trade-off. We're going to get rid of Chain Whirler, because otherwise this is way too toxic to anything that dumps out large amounts of creatures, especially any hope of anything Selesnya coming back. Even just White Rush with Loxodon, people are still playing that. You just can't have that with Chain Whirler. Can't do it. They should have banned Chain Whirler in exchange for Rampage and Ferocidon. Then I would have had a lot less of a problem. So they say, note that Rampage and Ferocidon will be unbanned in traditional best of 3 standard on MTG Arena as of September 4th, but will remain banned in best of 1 play. That is the biggest takeaway, because I don't even go to FNM anymore. Standard is such an impossible, unplayable, unfun, unenjoyable pile of garbage right now. I have zero interest in spending my Friday nights doing anything that resembles playing in the standard meta right now. I just get on Arena, do my dailies, piss people off with my burn everything deck, and then leave. And even that is really getting on my nerves. I cannot wait for rotation, because it seems like every time they go back to 5 sets being legal, the game becomes fun and playable and enjoyable again. And every time it approaches 7 or 8 sets being legal, it's a disaster. Which, if you haven't caught on yet, they need to do the 6-month rotation instead of a year. They just need to. They have to do it. Either that or stop printing wide open broken crap. You know, cards that interact with way too many cards. So yeah, if you're like, cool, I'm going to re-add this to my Arena deck. No, you're not, unless you're playing best of 3. So they say this is due to differences in the metagames between those play modes with aggressive red strategies already performing well in best of 1. Yeah, but it's Cavalcade, so who gives a shit? This does not have an attack power of 1, so this doesn't even fit the deck. And plus, like I said, nobody in their right mind is going to mainboard this. There's no reason to do that, unless you're cheating and somehow know that your next opponent is running life gain. This is purely a sideboard card. Why bother banning it from best of 1? There's no sideboard. So whatever, let's move on to the rest of this ridiculous announcement, because there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more cards either being banned or coming off the ban list. So Modern. Well, they banned Hogak. I don't know if anybody saw that one coming. I could have told you that last week. In fact, I did tell you that last week. But what they wrote is so unbelievably spot on accurate. I can't believe it. They even like admit a mistake they made. This is unbelievable. So I'll just read it. Here we go. Since the release of Modern Horizons, graveyard decks using Hogak Arisen Necropolis have had an enormous impact on the Modern metagame. After early signs of the metagame being unable to self-correct, such as players adopting large amounts of main deck graveyard hate and the Hogak deck still boasting high win rates, did you hear that, everybody, in my comment section from the last video? We restricted Bridge from Below to weaken the deck, which you might have noticed is not what they did. That is a blatant lie. There are no restrictions in Modern. They only restrict cards in Vintage. So what they actually did was banned Bridge from Below, which, hilariously enough, it's actually not restricted in Vintage, in case you're wondering. So they wanted to weaken that deck. It's the same old Marvel Emrakul thing where they banned Emrakul pretending that was the problem. That's not the problem, dumbasses. Free casting giant shit is the problem, and there was a whole line of giant shit behind Emrakul. So people started free casting Ulamog. Oh, I'm shocked. And then they banned Marvel. Duh. So this time they're like, no, Bridge from Below, that's the problem. I'm looking at it, I'm like, who even plays that card? What are you even talking about? So they go on to say, since then, the results of Mythic Championship 4 in Barcelona, several Grand Prix, and other tournaments have shown that Hogak continues to have a high win rate and oppressive effect on the metagame. So to reiterate what they just said in the last paragraph, because I think some of you still don't get it. Yes, graveyard hate is a way to shut it down. What they're saying is their numbers and results prove that that's not good enough. So everybody's deconstructing and lobotomizing their deck to run bullshit like Leyline of the Void, Surgical Extraction, Rest in Peace, Tormod's Crypt, all that crap. It doesn't matter. You can't stop this deck. It's not good enough. They'll counter it. They'll play around it. They'll beat you before you get it out. it doesn't matter. Unless you're going to make half your deck the cards I just mentioned and changed one of the colors of your deck, which, mind you, modern decks cannot be modified by even usually 2 cards, let alone, I'm going to put in 8 graveyard hate cards. So yes, individual specific cards shut down these decks, but it doesn't matter. And also, on top of it, because I know they're going to get to this, why should we have to? Why should anybody have to just modify their deck and their sideboard to play around one stupid broken deck? And in my opinion, these stupid graveyard decks aren't even Magic the Gathering. They don't use mana. They don't play the game. They're just quirky, stupid, dumb garbage that I'm sure Mark Rosewater invented way back in the day and regrets it heavily now. Okay? Use mana, cast spells, cast creatures, do things, draw cards from your library, play the fucking game. These graveyard decks are bullshit. Every single graveyard-oriented deck should be immediately banned from every format. That's always been my opinion, and if you ask any longtime Modern players, they will agree with you wholeheartedly. This deck is as much of a menace as the other stupid, boring gimmicks like Tron, Storm, and Affinity. They're just so boring, so tired, so stupid, so predictable. It's just dumb. Then on top of it, all those decks are incredibly powerful and competitive. Not quite so much anymore, but they're still good. So to resume what they were saying, in looking at the evolution of the archetype over time and the variety of successful ways to build the deck, it's clear that the card Hogak Arisen Necropolis is the crux of the problem. Well, at least you're admitting it. Therefore, Hogak Arisen Necropolis is banned. I'm glad they didn't say restricted again. Coming out of this period of an unhealthy modern metagame. Oh, for those of you saying, it's not that bad, you're exaggerating. Well, Wizards and me agree. And you should be very worried when Wizards and me agree, because it means that your read on the metagame is so poor, you might want to consider playing a different game. You are just so far separated from reality, you shouldn't even try to assess anything in the game anymore, honestly. A lot of you in the comment section were like, it's 14% of the meta, it's not as bad at the tournaments as you think. Well, the way you're measuring it is wrong. Sorry, you're just wrong. There's no, differing opinions. No, you are wrong, period. Get over it. So anyway, coming out of this period of an unhealthy modern metagame, we want to avoid taking a half step that once again, they're referring to Bridge from Below, leaves the metagame in a place where it can't self-correct. Over the past year, graveyard-based strategies have been occupying a large portion of the modern metagame. So once again, me and Wizards completely agree that that's crap. So they say to the point where deck building diversity is being suppressed, which in Modern is very important, let me add. This is reflected in the rise of heavy-handed main deck anti-graveyard cards. That's right, main deck. Main deck, not even the damn sideboard. Like Surgical Extraction, Leyline of the Void, rest in peace. We'd like to shift the gameplay a little bit away from graveyard and back toward the hand and battlefield. So in other words, real Magic. They're trying to be as polite and tactful as possible, but what they mean to say here is graveyard decks are bullshit. People are starting to have to mainboard these useless, pointless, worthless cards just to stop it. It doesn't play Magic. It doesn't use your hand. It doesn't use the battlefield. It doesn't draw cards normally. It's just a stupid gimmick. It should have been left in the dust when it was in Standard, and the whole damn block should be banned in my opinion. Or I suppose at the very least, just every graveyard mechanic. Dredge and anything that resembles Hogak, basically every delve card, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. We don't need this stupid, boring, gimmicky garbage ruining our tournaments. It has been growing and growing and growing like a complete cancer in the game, and now it's gone. They want to move back towards real, actual Magic that people actually might want to watch on a live stream. That's what they're trying to say, but being polite about it. So if Dredge or Delve, if any decks using those mechanics heavily ever becomes popular or powerful again, they're going to stomp it back out. Keep that in mind while building your stupid modern net decks, you copycat assholes. Just trying to save you a lot of whining and a lot of money. So anyway, the key card enabling the majority of these graveyard-focused decks is Faithless Looting, which is, by the way, the second card that was banned. A lot of people said it's barely even Hogak. It's really Faithless Looting, putting him in the graveyard that's a problem. And, yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to be there, but it just takes cards for 1 mana and just stuffs them into the graveyard. It's a little much, and you might think, but 2 cards, it's 2 cards. But it's also a combo enabler. It's letting you get to the cards you need quicker while also feeding the graveyard, while also costing 1 mana. and then it has flashback. It's a little too much. You wouldn't read the card and immediately say without studying the meta, wow, that's broken. But if you look at what it actually functionally does, oh yeah, this card should have been banned a long time ago. This card's it's just bad. So what they're saying is they're not going to stop at just stopping Hogak, which is a brand new card from Modern Horizons, which was, obviously they're going to screw something up when they try to micromanage and enhance the modern format by taking decks that are already too powerful and making them worse. I mean, remember when I said that when the set came out? Well, here we are. Sad that I could see that coming and they couldn't. Should have just been a reprint set. But anyway, yeah, Faithless looting. So they say, by our data gathered from Magic Online and tabletop tournament results over the past year, the winningest modern deck at any given point in time has usually been a Faithless looting deck. So remember, not even just Graveyard Synergy decks run this, other decks that just want to get to their damn card. This might as well just be Brainstorm or Ponder, both of which are not legal in Modern. Okay, Brainstorm was never legal in the first place, but you get my meaning. In my opinion, they should ban Anticipate from Modern too, but that's a different discussion. So get this, in case you haven't been following it, because I know I barely have, examples of decks that have run Faithless looting include Hollow One, remember that one? Is It Phoenix? Love that one. And Dredge and Bridgevine variants, both pre and post Hogak's release. Yeah, this card would be broken even if it cost 2 mana. So I'm going to go find your grave and take a piss on it, Faithless looting. You needed to go a long time ago. I mean, cards that just vaguely reference the graveyard have been using this. It's just too good. Screw the graveyard. The graveyard should be where things go to die. It shouldn't be the primary mechanic and motivator of your deck. I mean, I'd stop at saying, Golgari's mechanic, okay, whatever, Undergrowth, whatever. But like, bringing stuff back from the graveyard, that's kind of backwards. You should only do that for like really rare legendary mythic cards or something. It shouldn't be the backbone of your entire deck and the main mechanic. That's not Magic. I mean, if you think about all the things I hate the most in Magic, they're pretty much all graveyard mechanics. I hate flashback. I hate resurrection decks that self-mill something and then res it into the battlefield. I hate Dredge. I hate Delve. I hate Whip of Erebos. I hate the fact that Scarab God can bring himself out of the graveyard. Really, in my opinion, the graveyard can just fuck off. And yes, there are like 0-drop colorless cards that completely shut people's shit down. It doesn't matter. I shouldn't be forced to play those cards. The people running graveyard decks should be forced to play Magic. What a concept! So anyway, as new card designs are released that deal with the graveyard, discarding decks and discarding cards and casting cheap spells, the power of Faithless looting's efficient hand and graveyard manipulation continues to scale upward. That's true, they know it'll be more problematic in the future. They're spot on with that. I told you this whole section, they really didn't misrepresent a whole lot in here. They are really hitting the nail on the head. So regardless of Hogak's recent impact, Faithless looting would be a likely eventual addition to the ban list in the near future. So they're doing a predictive, cautious, preventative ban, which they never do, and they're acting like that's something they do all the time. I mean, great, more power to them, 2 thumbs up, but like, why do they pretend like, no, we're going to wait and see. We're going to see if the meta adapts. Now they're like, no, we know, we are 100% confident that this will be a problem. Well, that never stopped you before. The just inconsistency and hypocrisy and lying and misrepresentation of how they manage the meta, it's unbelievable. So anyway, in order to ensure the metagame doesn't again revert to a Faithless looting graveyard deck being dominant, I think they meant to put decks plural, we believe now is the correct time to make this change. For the same reason we're choosing not to unban Bridge from Below at this time. That was actually kind of surprising, but I mean, they really don't want graveyard decks in the game anymore. They're trying to be nice about it and hide it, but is there a real reason to not unban Bridge from Below? If you were to be perfectly honest with yourself, no. Clearly the opinion on this is, well, that horse has already left the barn, whatever. Let's not rock the boat even more. Let's just leave graveyard behind. Screw it. Which is what they should have done with Rampaging Ferocidon, but okay. So knowing that these changes will already shake up the metagame, we consider that this is a good time to review cards currently on the ban list. Just as was our philosophy in unbanning Jace the Mind Sculptor. Oh yeah, there wasn't a second reason for that. And Bloodbraid Elf last year. Wait, I don't remember them unbanning that. Oh no, I do because it was Cascade and I hate that. Yeah, Cascade is toxic as AIDS. Anyway, we recognize that over time the power level of Modern increases naturally as the card pool grows. Yeah, and you fight it with bans, not unbans, you dumbasses. Cards that were added to the ban list on pure power level may now be more appropriate in the context of a more powerful metagame. No, what you do is you wait for stuff to get too powerful and ban it. Remember, Modern has a turn 4 limit. Anything that wins before turn 4 will be banned. They have said this on multiple occasions. Still, I get people contradicting me in the comment section saying, no, they never said that. That's made up. That's a rumor. Do I have to send you a signed copy, a printout of the quote that I screenshotted the last time they said it? Because I'm not going to, because people that stupid and ignorant who live in their own little fantasy world aren't worth my time. So anyway, these absolute morons said, we believe the Modern metagame and power level are in a place where Stoneforge Mystic is now an appropriate inclusion in the card pool. Well, I got news for you, it's not. Have fun rebanning it later. This card, everybody agreed, is too good. What it did when it was legal was insane, and it would never be unbanned. This is the dead-ass last card I would ever expect to come off the Modern ban list. Ever. And these morons just unbanned it. Then the next paragraph really pisses me off. The danger in reintroducing Stoneforge Mystic, and the reason it's remained on the ban list up until this point, is that it's at its strongest against straightforward decks that play to the battlefield. So in other words, real actual Magic that people want to play and watch. Gimmicky combo glass cannon bullshit is not what we need in Modern. So you make a very good point with that statement, Wizards. You've won me over. I do think it should remain banned. While we think it's unlikely, there is a scenario where Stoneforge Mystic could come to suppress this type of gameplay. Yes, like the last time it was in Standard. What the hell do you think changed? In which case would re-examine its legality, similar to Golgari Grave Troll's history in Modern. Yeah, well, screw you too, because it's going to be a problem very, very, very shortly. I think this is probably just an insider trading scam because they don't want to give out Christmas bonuses this year. So they just told everybody in the office, hey, wink, wink, nod, nod, you might want to pick up some Stoneforge Mystics. I heard from Little Bird. And then they all, buy up 100 of them, make a couple grand, and there you go. Then they don't have to pay them. That's my theory, because there's no other reason that they would unban this. Everything they said is literally the reason it should never, ever, ever be unbanned ever, and hasn't been until this point. And then their contradictory statement is, well, I mean, maybe we'll ban it later. Like, there's no upside. They're like, this is the danger. This is why we haven't unbanned it. This is why it could potentially be a problem. But the reason we're unbanning it is because we could just ban it later. What the actual hell kind of logic is that? That is such complete transparent bullshit. They are blatantly lying to us. Did they just not feel like they're doing their jobs if there's not one broken menace of a problematic deck in Modern? Do they think that it's good media buzz? Really, it just ruins tournament attendance. What the hell were they thinking? So anyway, I can't wait to talk to you guys in 3 to 6 months when they reban Stoneforge Mystic. I wouldn't recommend investing in them. So anyway, our hope is that the gameplay becomes less graveyard focused. Stoneforge Mystic serves as an enticing draw for decks to refocus toward the battlefield, creature combat, and card advantage. Wait a minute, didn't they just contradict that? Why, yes, they did. Let's rewind the tape. It's actually digital, so I'm just going to read it again. The danger in reintroducing Stoneforge Mystic is that it's at its strongest against straightforward decks that play to the battlefield. So if Stoneforge Mystic decks become popular, it will make people not want to play straightforward decks that play to the battlefield. So then they say Stoneforge Mystic serves as an enticing draw for decks to refocus towards the battlefield, creature combat, and card advantage. No, it's going to do the opposite, like you just said about 2 sentences prior. I mean, I know it's Seattle, but I honestly didn't think human beings could get this stupid. I really didn't. So screw that card, screw Wizards of the Coast, and screw Modern. Let's move on to my favorite format, Vintage, which I know literally nothing about other than the players like to sue each other for shuffling wrong. Seriously, you could probably look up the story. Vintage players are such stuck-up, arrogant, rich assholes that they're $20,000 decks that should be in a museum, not being played at a crappy tournament for crappy prizes. Which, by the way, is half counterfeits anyway, so who cares? They have sued each other for shuffling in a way that damaged the card's value to an amount that they thought would be appropriate for a small claims court. That is an actual thing that has actually happened. And plus, Vintage players are the biggest cheaters in the game. Well, unless you count, Sealed to be a format, because then it would be them. But otherwise, no, Vintage, it's such gimmicky glass cannon bullshit where you either win or don't by one card that if you cheat, you win. Period. Not just, oh, I gave myself a 10% advantage by sliding another land into play. No, like, you just won the game by manipulating one card. So I have zero respect for Vintage. Once again, I'm going to classify it as not even Magic. It's a completely different game in my opinion, and it's a complete waste of everybody's time, but it's completely eclipsed by the complete waste of everybody's money that it is. Then you have Wizards saying, oh, don't you dare hold an event at your store where you allow blatant proxies and counterfeits. And that's it for Vintage. Screw it. That was the last reason to kind of play it. And remember, there's Vintage and there's Legacy. Legacy can be tolerable under some circumstances, but there's still some really broken horseshit decks. But Vintage is a complete and utter free-for-all. Nothing is technically allowed to be banned from it, I guess except for like anti-cards. Gold borders, cards that aren't real, like Splendid Genesis. I mean, come on, guys. They have some standards, but other than that, none. You're just restricted to one copy per deck. So this is just a bunch of Power 9 broken horse shit. And everybody who says, but I like Magic the way it was before and I like older cards. Oh yeah, Vintage really resembles gameplay from the 90s. It's completely the same thing and the same power level. No, it's not. And you've got to be off your damn rocker if you think that it even vaguely resembles it. I've played Chandalar, okay? I know what things were like back then. I didn't play Magic back then, but I've basically opened a time machine called Chandalar, which is the old Magic game from the 90s, the digital one. I know what gameplay was back then. A 4/4 vanilla for 4 was considered a good creature, okay? Not quite the same thing, I would say, in Vintage. A little bit different power level. Just a little bit. So anyway, I'm sure I've generated enough Legacy and Vintage hate in the comment section. Those people are so, fragile. They get so butthurt so easily when people disrespect their stupid overpriced hobby. Oh, I might pin a couple. Yeah, come back in a day or two and look at the comment section for a top 10 list of the craziest entitled rich assholes you've ever seen. Literally me saying this right now in the video still won't stop them from leaving a comment. I'm literally telling them, I'm going to parade you in front of everybody to look at what a dumbass you are. And they're still going to leave the comments. You don't know about Vintage. You haven't played it. You're just too poor. Shut the fuck up. Or don't, because now I really want to pin some of your comments. Anyway, that's how much respect I have for Vintage. So they did a bunch of crazy shit, none of which I know about because I couldn't even name one Vintage deck other than, the hell does George play? Charbelcher. Anyway, War of the Spark Modern Horizons Core Set 2020 have been among the most impactful sets for Vintage in years. If I needed a sentence to outline how bad the power creep has gotten in Magic, I think this is the one I would choose. A bunch of standard grade blah is competing on a 25,000 plus card pool for the best cards in the world, and all three of them, well, okay, Modern Horizons wasn't a standard set, but whatever. All three of those sets were all good enough to affect Vintage. That's how completely borked the power level of these sets were. In case you needed a scale, they've just laid it out for you. So we've been watching and listening to the evolution of Vintage over the last several months as the metagame has begun to settle. Now that the London Mulligan is official, which by the way, they never should have rolled out in Vintage. Holy shit, was that a bad idea? We've had some time to review data and tournament results. We'd like to take action to resolve some problematic play patterns. The whole damn format is problematic. What the hell are you going to do about it and its toxic decks and its toxic players? It's like pouring a cup of water on the rainforest right now trying to put it out. That said, they did ban and unban 5 cards, which is okay, now they're dumping a helicopter full of water on it. It's not nothing, but at least they can pretend they're trying to do something. So anyway, though our data shows that Vintage is in a good state of balance from an objective standpoint, with nearly all the top 10 decks having a 47 to 53% overall win rate, which actually that is pretty balanced, we've heard community concerns about an increase in turn 1/2 effective wins. Really? Vintage players are suddenly concerned about turn 1/2 wins. Do they know that it's Vintage? Did they think it was a Legacy tournament? Vintage is just turn 1, turn 2, infinite combo bullshit. That's what Vintage is, okay? Leave your angry comment disagreeing with me down below. Wizards and me both agree that you're full of shit, okay? Just these clueless, entitled rich people. They're just unbelievable. So anyway, we agree and would like to move the format back to a place the community is happy with, even taking multiple steps over time if needed. Hey, can you slow down modern back to a turn 4 and slow down standard back to not turn 4? I mean, if you suddenly give a shit about what the community thinks about how quick the games are going and how it's barely even worth your time to shuffle if you win on turn 1, maybe make standard somewhere that isn't, turn 4 versus turn 30. Because, 6 months ago, there was basically nothing in the middle, and it's barely repaired itself since then. Just saying. By the way, that is the reason they banned Amulet Bloom. Don't get it twisted. They said it. They said this wins on turn 3 too often. It's gone. End of statement. That's it. That is why they banned it. The end. Oh, no, actually, I heard that they banned it because of this, and in my opinion, no, they banned it for the reason that they stated in the press release when they banned it. Anyway, so recently, Karn the Great Creator and Mystic Forge have turbocharged Shops decks, I don't even know what that is, by giving them more early game lockout potential through Karn's static ability. That is true. Yeah, that. Everybody knew that would be a little much. Which, by the way, 4 mana on turn 1, trivial. Remember when I said this isn't Magic? Yeah, it's not Magic. This is a completely different game. Mana doesn't mean anything. Costs don't mean anything. Drawing doesn't mean anything. You basically just rig your opening hand or slide a card out of your sleeve and you win. That's vintage. I have zero respect for this format or anybody who plays it, in case you didn't catch that already. So also you've got a tutorable win con through Karn's -2 loyalty ability, fetching Time Vault and Voltaic Key or Manifold Key, which, and card advantage in prolonged games, especially through Mystic Forge. You think? FYI, I heard Mystic Forge was a problem before Karn, just in case you're wondering. Anyway, relating to Karn's static ability, Vintage is the one format in Magic where players can enjoy playing with super powerful artifact mana, like the Moxen, Soul Ring, Black Lotus, that kind of stuff, and that just shuts all of them down. So we'd like to reduce the number of games that immediately come down to an early Karn preventing the opponent from casting spells, which, doing anything. You cut the mana base off, your deck does nothing. You're going to have to draw those lands normally, and good luck, you're not gonna. So therefore, in order to make Shops decks, whatever the hell that is, more interactive in the early game and more attackable in a prolonged game, we are restricting Karn the Great Creator and Mystic Forge. So both of them, you're down to 1 copy. We considered the further step of restricting Sphere of Resistance, but prefer to take this smaller step first and reevaluate based on data and community feedback. So if you have a copy of Sphere of Resistance, oh Lord, sell it. Because, FYI, this ain't gonna solve the problem. I'm just looking at those combos, and I'll tell you right now, with my limited knowledge of Vintage, that is not going to solve the problem. They are going to restrict Sphere of Resistance. Anyway, Dredge decks, based around Bazaar of Baghdad, ooh, love that one, have become more powerful with the London Mulligan, gee, you think, and some recent card additions, such as Force of Vigor, as a means of fighting opposing graveyard hate. In order to slow these decks down and provide more time for interaction, we are restricting Golgari Grave Troll, which, let's be honest, should never been printed in the first place. And neither should really anything in Dredge. Dredge was a mistake. Sincerely, everybody at Wizards of the Coast who doesn't want to say it because they're too polite. Next, Mental Misstep, which I'm still standing by, should be unbanned in Modern if Wizards wants to achieve what they said they want to achieve. They wanted games to be longer and early game gimmicky stupid combos to go away. Well, Mental Misstep is how you do it. It's honestly not even a very good card because it says counter target spell with converted mana cost equal to exactly 1. Not 0, not 2, 1. Do you know how narrow that is? Yes, it's a free counter spell that costs 2 life. Yes, it basically goes in decks that aren't blue 80% of the time. It doesn't matter. It stops one thing. If a deck collapses after you stop one thing that costs 1 mana, that deck shouldn't exist. On Vintage, it's a completely different story, but in Modern, we need Mental Misstep unbanned. Why? No more glass cannons, and people would start to play things that actually cost 2. I don't see a downside here. None of my Modern decks collapse if you counter 1 spell that costs 1, and I win with them all the time. So anyway, Mental Misstep has been a controversial card among the Vintage community for years, oh you think? While it does provide more opportunity for interaction, it is also at its strongest against the most interactive decks. That's bad. See, that's why I said Vintage is completely different, because it's also, as I stated, a completely different game. Moreover, a large part of the reason for including Mental Misstep is to fight an opponent's mental missteps. This creates a situation where many decks are taxed deck slots they must devote to fighting each other at the expense of weakening themselves against Shops. In addition, Dredge decks often use Mental Misstep to protect their graveyard, engine, or disrupt opponents. Well, it wouldn't stop Tormods, but anyway, sure. We believe that restricting Mental Misstep will open up more deck building diversity, strengthen interactive decks, matchups against Shops, and weaken Dredge, which they are 100% correct. I 100% stand by the decision of them restricting it. Should have been done a long time ago. But in Modern, relying on things that cost 1 to win the game and do something degenerate, those decks universally need to go. Now, mental misstepping somebody's Birds of Paradise, that's a dick move and that's just annoying, but you're probably going to do something degenerate with having that much mana that quick anyway. So is it really the end of the world? Can you really not come back from it in like a real deck that really responsibly uses 1-cost spells? I mean, be honest. I'm not saying that if they unbanned it in Modern, it wouldn't be devastating to certain decks. I'm just saying those decks had it coming. And Wizards said that they wanted to slow down Modern and make it more interactive with less gimmicky binary win-con combos. But if you're going to say, no, I don't want it unbanned because Phyrexian Mana is AIDS, okay. I mean, I'll give you that. Yeah, that was up there with Dredge on one of the worst things that happened in the game ever. Yeah, but Phyrexian Mana was a mistake, clearly. I think that Mental Misstep should be a colorless spell that costs 1. It wouldn't even make sense in the color pie, but it would at least be a fair card then. Anyway, since our philosophy is that Vintage should be about playing with access to all of Magic, we periodically re-examine the restricted list for cards that can create new decks and play patterns. And then they said even if they come with some risk, which, yeah, they were banned for a reason, or restricted. Recently, many players have suggested that Fast Bond is a card that they would enjoy playing with 4 copies of. Since most Vintage decks rely heavily on artifact mana and play fewer lands, chances are that a deck built around Fast Bond would look quite different from anything in the current metagame. That's right, they would actually use lands for mana. What a concept. Vintage is not Magic the Gathering. Other cards we've discussed unrestricting in the future are Windfall and Necropotence. Boy, they're just giving us all the hot stock tips. So yeah, I mean, Fast Bond is a pretty messed up card if you just purely look at what it does, and they stopped printing it after revised. But okay, you played all your lands. Well, now what? I mean, where are you going to get more lands? Like in a normal deck, like a typical standard deck, 1/3 of your cards are land. So every third card draw, or every third turn if you have no card draw, you're going to pull a land. Well, you would have been able to play it anyways. So you'd have to draw 6 cards in order to make use of this again, and then all you get out of it is access to 1 mana 1 turn earlier. It's really hard to do degenerate crap with this in any other format, but in Vintage you could drop in some very problematic lands that do things other than generate mana, so we'll have to see. It almost should have said like forests or basic lands. Basic lands would have been perfect. So we'll see what comes of that. Should be interesting, but yeah, they are unrestricting it. So they end with, we're very interested in what the Vintage community thinks of these changes and whether further steps are needed. There will be one more opportunity to change the ban and restricted list before Eternal Weekend North America, and we are willing to do so. So please continue to make yourselves heard in the same ways you always have been, which is bitching about it on Reddit. So that's all the changes. To wrap it up, Rampaging Ferocidon is unbanned in Standard and Modern, Hogak is banned, Faithless Looting is banned, finally, rest in peace, and Stoneforge Mystic is temporarily unbanned until they ban it in the very near future. In Vintage, Card the Great Creator is restricted, Mystic Forge is restricted, Mental Misstep is restricted, Golgari Grave Troll, thank God, is restricted, and Fast Bond is unrestricted. So, really, Stoneforge Mystic is the one I really disagree with. Everything else on here, yeah. So as completely pissed off as I am that they unbanned Stoneforge Mystic for what they basically admit is no reason. Well, I mean, they stated a reason, but it contradicts another statement they made and makes no sense, so I'm going to call that no reason. We really needed Faithless Looting gone. We really needed Hogak gone. And I just realized, obviously, I disagree with Rampaging Ferocidon being unbanned, but I'm, like, not that tripping over it, because it's still banned in Best of 1, and it's a sideboard card, so who gives a shit? It was still a mistake, it's just I don't care. So what do you guys think of all this? If you're going to leave some whiny butthurt comment, please do. I would love to ban you. And can't wait for the next ban and restricted announcement, which really I just can't wait until rotation. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.